to the channel, and this is going to be a full smartphone and flip phone and I guess tablet collection, and I'm going to basically include all my mobile devices. So let's get started. And I'm going to take the phone off the tripod. So the first one I have here is this S7 Edge. It works perfectly. It's on Android 7 and it's an S7 Edge. And I have to make a video about this one still, but I'll get to that soon. Next is this S5 Active. I found in the Target bin. It's probably charged. Yeah, it's charged. Next is my S10. I got a different case for it because it was like $3 on eBay, and why not? Here's my Galaxy S10. I don't think it's charged since I just forgot to charge it yesterday. But I basically use it as like a secondary phone since I have an iPhone XS, and the XS is obviously better. So yeah, and I just got this phone like a month ago. So next I have my Pixel 2 XL. It's a Google Pixel 2 XL. It has a case on it, and it works perfectly. Nothing wrong with it. Next, I have my S9 Plus. It's probably dead, but it's an S9 Plus. I just forgot to charge it, I think. And this phone I actually got for $50. So, yeah. Next is my 950 XL. I found this inside a Target bin, and I have ordered a brand new case for it, and it's just dead. I'm pretty sure most of these are going to be dead. So, next I have this, I have this Alcatel Idol 4S. It's not dead yet, I think. Yeah, it's dead. And it kind of has a crack in it since I just dropped it one day, and it just kind of got cracked on both sides. And I think I actually did like a drop test on this phone a long time ago, like a couple months ago, I think. Next, I have the Xiaomi Me 5S Plus. I don't think I've ever showed this phone, but it works. Probably dead also. And I have ordered a brand new case for it. Next, I have my S Captivate. I found in the Target bin. It's probably still charged. It's also rated, if you can see. I have this Droid Mini. It works perfectly. It's just dead, I think. This LG G5, that's Google locked. But it's a Google locked LG G5. Next, I have this Lumia 1020. It works perfectly. It's a 41 megapixel one. I have this Lumia, I think it's a 640 or a 640 XL. I'm not sure. But this one works perfectly. I have this 950, which just boot loops and never does anything. I have this 950 that's, I think it's factory reset protection locked. I have this TCL LX that's just dead. I bought this for like $20. I have this Htc Touch Pro2 that's probably dead, or not. I have this Moto E 2nd Gen it's an E 2nd Gen, and it's probably dead. I have this Nokia, I think it's Nokia, just an old Nokia Lumia phone. It's like dead, but I think it does work. I don't think so. I don't think I've charged this in a really long time, but so it's just an old phone, but I think it does work. I'm not really sure. Here's this Toshiba phone. This one does work. It runs Android. It's like a really old version. Like, I think Android 2 point something. I have this S4 Active, which has a broken charging port, but works with a charged battery. I have to buy a brand new charging port, a battery, and a back for this, and also a case if I want to fix this phone up. So, yeah. Next, I have this. I have this Lumia, I think it's an 830, Lumia 830. And it's a really good phone. It's metal. And I think it runs Windows 10 mobile. I have this iPhone 3GS. It's a 16 gig, and that's on iOS 6.1.6, and that's probably dead. I have this Lumia 630, which works perfectly. It's on Windows 10 mobile. I have this really old Samsung phone. I forgot what it's called, but it's just an old Samsung. It's on Windows Phone 7. It works. I have this really messed up Lumia 610 or 620. It had like a bad like digitizer, and the touchscreen doesn't work at all. But it's just an old Windows Phone. It has like a bumper case on it. I have this old J3 I smashed. I smashed the J3, and I basically just took out the screen, I threw it away, and I just kept the phone for some reason. I have this Htc Hd2. It does not work at all. It just boot loops, and it also has a really badly cracked screen. I have this S6 Edge that I made a video about. It's Samsung account locked, and I have bypassed it fully by like putting in an Odin, and it bypassed itself fully. I just like flashed it, and now I have a fully working S6 Edge. It's still cracked, and I probably won't replace the screen since screen replacements are like $150 for a new screen. And it's just a pretty old phone, and I like this phone. I use it a little bit, but yeah. Next is the Green 5C. I bought this on Tuesday from a friend. It's a Green 3285C, and you might have seen my video on it. Next, I have this old piece of garbage. It's like a Lumia 630. It's this one, but it's really badly cracked and does not work at all. And the only thing it does is boot loops. Next, I have this Galaxy S4. This thing actually does work, even though the screen is really, it's like pretty badly cracked. It still somehow does work, and it works perfectly. And this is actually my only S4, and I might replace the screen. I'm not really sure. Next, I have this Lumia E63. This one does work, but it's just dead probably. It's a Nokia E63, it's not a Lumia. I have this Blackberry Torch 9810, I think, I'm not sure. I just don't remember the model numbers of most of these. I have this Blackberry Torch, it works perfectly. It's on Blackberry OS, I think 6. I have this phone, it's a Lumia, I think 920. I found it in a Target bin, I made a video about it. And it's never done anything, and it's never turned on since the water damage really badly. It's like waterlogged, basically. I have the iPhone SE I found. I put it inside this case because my Apple case still hasn't come, which is kind of sad, but yeah. It's an iPhone SE, it's a 64 gig on iOS 12. I have the Lumia 710 I unboxed. It's still charged. Maybe it's dead, I'm not sure. I have this iPhone 4S. It's iCloud locked. And it's iCloud locked on the activation lock screen. I have my OnePlus 3D. I don't think I've ever showed this phone on the channel, but it works perfectly. And I did buy this phone for, I think, $65, which is a really good deal for one of these. And I also did buy this wallet case. It was like $2 on eBay, so I had to buy it. Why not? Next, I have this iPod Touch 5th Gen. It's still charged. I found it inside a Target bin. I did put some music on it. And yeah, it worked perfectly. Next, I have this iPod Touch 2nd Gen. It might be charged, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's dead, but it's pretty scratched up, and it's an 8 gig. And it works perfectly. Next, I have the G5 Plus I found. I still haven't managed to bypass it, but it's still charged, I think. Then I have another V640s. This one's probably charged, or maybe it's dead, I'm not really sure. Next, I have this piece of garbage. It's a Spice phone. It's like a really cheap Chinese phone. The screen is broken, there's no bezel on it, and that screen is like cracked from the inside. So there's nothing I can do with this thing. It still somehow does work, but okay. Next, I have this blue phone. It's like a Windows phone. It has a screen protector on it. We have to peel off. It works perfectly, I think. I'm not really sure. Just a Windows 8 blue phone, and that one's Google locked. I have this really old Windows phone. I have no idea about the model. I have this Htc Touch, I think. It's really like sticky on the back since it's an old phone, and it runs on Windows Mobile. I just have a bunch of these Windows phones for some reason, and this one's totally dead. I have this Htc Windows Phone. I think it works. I have this Htc One M8. And this one did work. It's a Windows Phone also. It did work, but like one day it just stopped turning on and it just died for some reason. It just like stopped turning on. And the screen is not cracked, that's just like a hairline crack on the display, and it does work. Like, it used to work, but it just died one day, and it's never turned back on, which kind of sucks. I have this iPhone 6, 64 gig, it needs a screen replacement. I paid, I think, how much did I pay? I think I paid $55 for it. It's a 64 gig iPhone 6, and it needs a new screen, but it doesn't work perfectly, it has good Touch ID and everything. And the cool thing is that this phone is actually on iOS 9.3.5, which is pretty good for an iPhone 6. It's actually a really rare phone, actually. It's a really rare phone, and I have ordered a new screen, and I'm gonna be replacing it soon, and I'm gonna have a fully working 6. Here's an S3, it works, kind of bulged. I have to order a new battery for it. And that does work, by the way. I have this old HTC card for some reason. It works perfectly. I have this HP Elite X3, and this is my mom's old phone. And the problem with this phone is that there's like nothing wrong with it. But the problem is that my mom actually forgot her Microsoft account password. So like it's basically like locked forever, and it can never be unlocked. It's basically like factory reset protection lock, which sucks. I have this Alcatel phone, works. It's an Android phone. I have this Zolo Windows Phone. It works perfectly. I have another Zolo Android phone. This one's a really bad phone. It's really old, it's cracked, and it's just super slow. This phone actually was Google locked, but I spent like half an hour trying to bypass it, since it was just super slow and it took a long time to bypass. I have this HTC phone, it does work. So this video is kind of getting pretty long, so I might stop it. Nokia phone works, that phone works, and the iPhone 4 I found, and it does work also. So I'm just gonna stop this video, and I'm gonna go to my flip phones, which are gonna be like set up in a minute. Here are all my flip phones and basically old stuff. And I just didn't feel like setting all this up since it takes a long time. I have this nice little slider phone. It runs on Windows Phone. And sorry for the shaky camera thing. I'm just kind of like, I have no tripod basically, so yeah. Here's a Palm Trio, works. And I do have a charger for all these. This one does work. Like it just shows something on the screen. It shows no battery, since it has no battery on it and no back. But it somehow does have a stylus, which is pretty nice. It has a stylus on it. Here, this Samsung, I charged this one, since it's a pretty cool phone. It runs on Windows Phone, if you can see that. But, yeah. I have so many Windows phones of all types, so weird. And it's like a Blackberry style phone. Pretty nice. I have this LG flip phone. I think it might be dead, but I really like this phone. Just a cool little phone. Here's another of these Palm Trios. This one also works. But I'm pretty sure the battery on this one is pretty bad. Like the battery like never lasts at all. I have this LG phone. It's identical to the one before. Dead. I have this Ryzen flip phone. It's made of metal. It has a freaking camera on it. And the cool thing is that a camera, you can actually do this. And the camera freaking moves. It's so cool. Just a cool little Ryzen phone. And it's dead, I think. Nokia phone works. This AT&T Z222 phone, ZTE AT&T phone. It's one of the newest flip phones, I think. I found this in their Target bin, and it works perfectly. And it's actually a really nice flip phone. It's just at least one of my favorite flip phones. Next, I have this little flip phone, or this little bar phone thing. It's a Samsung on track phone. It works, just dead. There's a bunch of these phones inside bags. Actually, here's something. Here's this Samsung phone. It's pretty small. Works perfectly. trying to get this phone out of the bag, so sorry about that. Okay, here it is. So sorry about that, but here's a Motorola Razr. Works perfectly. Just said. This one's actually on T-Mobile, which is my carrier. So I could technically use this as a main phone if I really wanted to, but I don't think I'm going to do that since it's just an old piece of garbage, basically. It's a nice phone, but just really old. And, yeah. Nokia phone works. I have this really old Kyocera flip phone, or Kyocera bar phone. It works somehow. It works with one of my chargers. Just a really old phone. Then I have an even older version of the same exact phone. This one, it's super old. It has this really old style Sprint logo on it. And, yeah. Next I have this Microsoft tin. I don't feel like taking all these out of the bags, so I'm just gonna make it like this. It's a tin, it works, might be dead. This phone, it's an Alcatel One Touch on track phone, works. Probably dead. It's like a $5 phone, I think. This phone costs $5, so. I have this phone, it's a Sony Ericsson. The hinge is kind of weird, but it works. The buttons are cool, and yeah, I like this phone actually. And it's just really messed up over here, but everywhere else is pretty good. It's also on T-Mobile. I have this LG on Reliance. It's a super small phone, and it's just pretty well designed, and it just feels like unbreakable basically. It's just a really, like, durable phone, I think. Next I have this nice phone. This one's actually, I think I forgot a model on this. It's a Motorola. The back just came in for some reason. But, yeah, it's just a Motorola phone. It works perfectly. And it has like a mirror so you can see my iPhone XS over there, which is, yeah. I have the Samsung Solstice phone. It works. It's not an Android phone. It's like an old Java phone. Works perfectly. I have this pretty nice phone. This is, I think, a Nokia Asha phone. Nokia Asha 200 or something. It has a case on it. Works perfectly. And the cool thing about this phone is it actually has a web browser. And it actually has Wi-Fi. So I can connect this to my Wi-Fi. And it actually works. Like a web browser is actually pretty good. And it does work somehow. Which is pretty nice. And this phone is my grandma's old phone, and she just gave it to me since she upgraded to, I think, the iPhone XR. And it's just her old phone, and she just gave it to me, so yeah. Here's this old Nokia. It's super old, and it's super beaten up. This thing somehow still works. I have no idea how. It's probably dead, but it's power button up there. Yeah, it's dead, but this thing somehow still works, even though it's still, like, beaten up and bad condition. I have this Pantech phone. Pantech, that phone. It's my only Pantech. It works perfectly. Like, it works perfectly. I do have the charger somehow. But the battery, I just don't have a battery for it, which kind of sucks. And, like, when I do plug in my charger, it does show something on the screen, but it doesn't, like, boot up fully. Xiaomi phone. The Xiaomi Ericsson phone. Works perfectly. Nokia, I think Nokia X2. It's a pretty nice phone. It has MP3 buttons on it, so I can like basically put some music on it. And I have put some music on it in the past, and it has worked. Pretty nice phone. It has a headphone jack, and nice phone. I like this one. Another of these Samsung phones. And this LG phone. This LG flip phone with a broken hinge. Still works. This Nokia flip phone, but this one has a camera on it, but no back-end battery, and it does work. This nice little T-Mobile Samsung phone works perfectly. Pretty nice. I like this one. This Xiaomi phone, it's an old phone that has a password on it, and there's no way to reset it, so just a brick basically. This old Samsung phone works. This nice little Nokia, this one's a pretty nice one. It has like a fake letter back. Works perfectly. Also charged. This old Nokia also works, but it's just old. This one actually has a pretty nice power button. The power button, like, it just feels like really tactile and like good to press, you know? And that's all for flip phones. And now I'm gonna do, so here's all my tablets. I have quite a few of them. Here's a Kindle. This is a really old Kindle Touch, I think. It's from like 2012, it worked perfectly. Yeah, it works perfectly. Just low battery. Next, I have a Kindle Paperwhite. I got this at a thrift store for like 10 bucks, which is pretty good for Kindle. And this is my main Kindle, and I just use this for reading books. And it also has like a leather thing on it, like a leather case. It's like an official one, so pretty nice for 10 bucks. And also works perfectly, no problems. And also came with like a bunch of books on it. So, pretty nice. Here's a Kindle Fire 7. I got it on Black Friday, and it's a really bad tablet. And definitely not worth how much I paid for it. It's just a piece of trash, basically. And I've like never used it, because I think I just wasted my 30 bucks on this. So yeah, just don't buy the tablet, it's a piece of garbage. Next, here's this thing. It's a really old Kindle Keyboard. Pretty nice. Works perfectly. This is my dad's old Kindle. Here's this Tab E. This is a Tab E 9.7 2015. It has 32 gigs of storage, 2 gigs of RAM, or 1 gig of RAM. It's like a cellular model, and it's a pretty nice tablet. It runs Android 4.4. And I think it's just dead since I haven't charged it. It's just dead, I think. Then I have an iPad 2. This one's also dead. I haven't charged it. It runs iOS 6.1.3 since I downgraded it. And it's an iPad 2. It's a cheap Wi-Fi one with no cellular. And I probably won't ever use this thing anymore since it's a piece of garbage and it's super slow. And just a really bad tablet. At least in 2019, it's really bad. Next, I have this Surface RT. This one's not charged. Totally dead. Actually, it's charged. Pretty nice. It's a Surface RT. It runs on Windows 8 RT. It has a stylus and a case and everything. And yeah, and I'm just gonna wait for that to boot up. And then here's probably my best tablet, or I actually wouldn't consider this. I wouldn't really consider this a tablet, since it's a laptop kind of. But if I take off the keyboard, it's a Surface Go. I guess it's a tablet, but I'm not really sure. And I just got this a few weeks ago. I bought it brand new for $400. I actually think I bought it used on eBay for like $400. It's the most expensive upgraded model, and I really like this, and I've been using it quite a lot. Then I have my my iPad Air. It's a first gen. It runs on iOS 12. And yeah, you've probably seen this in the last video I did about the iPad I found in Target bin. This is the only tablet I've ever found inside the Target bin. And yeah, it's pretty nice. And I have ordered a brand new case for this. So yeah, so that's all my tablets. And this is probably gonna be the last thing I'm gonna do in the collection. Oh, I forgot one thing. This is my main phone. It's an iPhone XS. And yeah, peace.